Well, the U.S. women's national team has a competition coming up later this month, the inaugural edition of the Women's CONCACAF Gold Cup. And today they announced their roster for said tournament. Some of the headliners, Naomi Girma will anchor the back line, Lindsey Horan and Rose Lavelle. Lindsey Horan, who was a topic on this podcast
Yes.
on
Yep.
Monday.
Yep.
Lindsey Horan and Rose Lavelle in the midfield. You've got Sophia Smith and Trinity Rodman headlining the attack. No Alex Morgan, no Becky Sauerbrunn, but you do have some veterans like Crystal Dunn and Alyssa Nair. This is still Twyla Kilgore coaching the team. Emma Hayes not around just yet. Overall thoughts on this roster?
Well, at the risk of being stupid, okay, and not knowing what I'm talking about as an American soccer fan, I enjoy this this roster here because I think it shows, even from back in England where Emma is finishing up with Chelsea, that this is a new sheriff and this is a new direction. It should be mentioned that Mal Swanson is in camp, but not part of this roster, and she is going to be a huge component going forward. Suffered that horrible injury before the World Cup. But when I look at this, and the Alex Morgans and the Becky Sauerbrunns and that kind of stuff, and it doesn't mean that they're necessarily not going to be there going forward, but I do think that there is a culling and a needed culling, if you will, of this team, and that this team is going to have your Roses and Lindsays, but for the most part, this is going to be a lot of players whose charge it's going to be is to get back to winning ways and get back to the top when it comes to the Olympics in the short term, and then obviously the World Cup going forward. But this is fun, and even Jenna Nywander, Rookie of the Year, gets called in as a defender. So and don't think for a second that Emma isn't orchestrating all of this right now. We did this when there was interim coaches for the national team, and how much contact or anything like that. This is still Emma's team, and the team that she is going to, I guess, inherit going forward here when she's done over there in Europe, and then through the summer, and obviously towards the World Cup.
And you just talked about non-CONCACAF teams playing in the men's Gold Cup. We have 4 CONMEBOL teams involved in this tournament: Brazil, Argentina, Paraguay, and Colombia, who, remember, got to the quarterfinals of the World Cup. And then you throw in Canada, so there's some juice here. It's actually a pretty good field.
Well, I'm a little torn on this, Mosse, because from a competitive standpoint, this makes it great. Keep in mind that this is a 12-team tournament, 3 groups of 4. As you mentioned, of those 12 teams, 4 of them are from CONMEBOL. So, 33% of this tournament is not even from CONCACAF. And while it makes the tournament better, at some point, either you merge or you recognize that there are 41 teams 41 members in CONCACAF. And so there's a lot of members in CONCACAF that aren't part of this tournament, and yet 33% of this tournament are teams that are coming from the outside. So I'm a little torn as to, does this really help CONCACAF and women's soccer in CONCACAF, or are we just becoming part of CONMEBOL, which in and of itself isn't necessarily a bad thing. We've talked about that before, of this America's type of scenario that could possibly happen going forward.
The shock, by the way, Jamaica didn't qualify for the Gold Cup. Remember, that's a team that got to the knockout stage of the World Cup.
But you never know. You never know with Jamaica when it comes to
and there was some off-the-field drama after the World Cup. They feuded with the Federation because they didn't feel like they got their bonuses that were owed to them. They refused to play some matches, so that perhaps affected them when they finally took the field to play in qualifiers for this Gold Cup. They ended up not making it.
Relative to getting back to being world champions, this is good for the U.S. The more, because we've seen this U.S. women's national team, even more so the men's national team, have to play games at times where it does nothing. And a training session would be better for them. And this, just in their own group with Mexico and Argentina and whoever comes out of CONCACAF there for their 4th group, and with a tournament that features, like you said, Brazil and Colombia and Canada and Paraguay, that's a good tournament. That's a good test for this team going forward, especially this young team and this new team, if you will.
Maybe we'll get Melissa Ortiz on to preview this tournament.
Nice. Yeah, she can bring in some coffee, right? She loves her coffee. Okay. You like that clip? Well, my State of the Union podcast drops twice a week right here on my very own YouTube page. The only way to stay up to date is to hit that subscribe button down below. Size the day, and see you soon.